says, listen, this is not for everybody. If what I'm writing seems to interest you and there's something you can learn from it, fine. If you're hardy and you're happy, you don't need to listen to this. So he's saying you don't have to buy what I'm looking for. But if you are one of the massive men leading lives of quiet desperation, if you are desperate in your job, you're not happy with your job, you're not happy with your relationships, you're not happy with your friend group, you're not happy, then maybe there's something here that can help you, which I think is amazing. What I suggest that you do, if you're very interested in this, of course, after you've read Walden, take a look at this book I just finished, Henry David Thoreau's A Life by Laura Dassel-Walls. This is a very, very good book. It's contemporary. It came out not that long ago, and it's a very good book. If you're also interested, of course, I would also read Emerson's The Mind on Fire by Robert Richardson. Right? There's another book called American Bloomsbury. I forget the author of that. That's also very interesting. And of course, if you want to leap ahead into the prophet angel that Emerson predicted would arrive in American literature to break away from Europe, well, then that's, of course, Whitman, Leaves of Grass, and a very interesting book, a cultural biography by David Reynolds called Walt Whitman's America. All three of these books I highly recommend, of course, after wading through like Emerson's writing and Thoreau's writing. Lots of great stuff, right? And of course we have Louisa May Alcott now, who's getting popularity because of the new film that's getting a lot of praise. Amen to that. And of course Hawthorne and Melville. I mean, these were all people who knew each other, right? And imagine being the fly on the wall when Thoreau meets Whitman, or when Whitman and Emerson were walking in Boston talking about, Emerson or Whitman, your poetry's a little sexual, you need to tone it down. And Whitman's like, I'm not toning that down, right? Of course, Whitman would shock both Thoreau and Emerson because he's talking about sex, and of course, those two never talk about sex, which is interesting. It's just not their thing, there's just not their thing. And what's interesting, when you get to Concord, right? Concord is known for two things, really, two really big things. It's the shot heard around the world. It's the Lexington and Concord battle, the beginning of the American Revolution. So Concord serves as two focal points of big changes in America. We have a political revolution on Lexington Green, and then you can take a walk up to Concord Bridge, and very, very beautiful, lovely, lots of joggers. It's a very affluent area. Walkers, bikers, joggers, depending on what time of year it is, you can either have it all by yourself or it's a little crowded. It's a beautiful walk. And you can see the Old Manse right there. It's where Hawthorne wrote Scarlet Letter, and you could see where his wife, I think it was Sophia, etched her name in the glass. And Emerson, that was the Emerson house, and Emerson, it's like Tales from the Old Manse from Hawthorne. Emerson wrote there, of course, Nature, 1836, and he, looking over that house, looks over the bridge where the Patriots, the Minutemen, held back the approaching British Army from the hills, and then routed them, and then it was mayhem all the way back to Boston. It was sort of like guerrilla style. All right, so there's the political victory and the stance that the Americans took at Concord. It's also the place of the American literary revolution, where you have these great minds together, and great minds oftentimes come in groups, right? We have like the British invasion, so we have the Who, the Kinks, the Stones, and the Beatles, and the Animals, and all these groups really are coming from one island, making rock and roll history. It's kind of crazy, right? But we also have that in other movements, like the French Impressionist. We have the Athens sound, the Chicago Motown sound. We have the grunge sound coming out of Seattle. So I guess this lecture is the idea of groups and about how ideas get mixed and mingled between great minds and our founding fathers, right? Madison and Jefferson and Monroe and Hamilton. Can you imagine being in that room listening to those great minds? We've never had that since. But talking about things that really, really matter and bouncing ideas off each other. Like you have this idea now and this idea, and then suddenly we get the U.S. Constitution. Don't mind that, just something fell off. That was one of my plaques. Oh boy, Fitzgerald fell off the wall. That's all right, he's not broken. I'll put him back. So think about that. When you think about Concord, it's two revolutions. It's the American Revolution. It's also the start of the American Revolution, because up until then, we had like Washington Irving doing some good stuff. We had Longfellow, he's doing good stuff, right? However, it's still in the European mode. It's still looking to the folk tales of Germany and England and Denmark and the Netherlands and, for inspiration. And that's fine, but we need American writers, we need American artists, we need American composers, and we need to break away from the Europeans. And of course we do. It takes a while, especially in music, but we do. But for America, it starts with Emerson's Nature and just blooms from there. And suddenly now America is not only just an industrial power, but also now a cultural power in the arts. Thank you so much.